Kyle here from All Media Reviews. Today is the start of what I'm trying to do, hopefully. Small Leaks Sink Ships. Portland, Oregon, originally from Tempe, Arizona. And their new album, Low Tide, is being released on Friday, October 20th. The first proper full-length album in 6 years. First release of like any kind really in 5 years. So I'm going to try to review or talk about every one of the records, but I'm not just doing one video just to separate. So the first video, let me give the brief as possible because I'm up against the clock here, background. I heard about them sometime late 2000s, something like that. I know I saw the name. I think it might have been in Alternative Press, one of the alternative, not the first issue I got, it might have been the second or third one. I bought that issue, the 100 Bands Need to Know issue, and featured bands like Receding and Sirens and Protest, The Hero, House of Fools, Annuals. Anyway, and then I listened to some of the music they got on MySpace, and then I never pursued them. They had an odd name, but they were doing kind of progressive stuff. But then I, forgot about them. They're one of, 148 bands or artists that I came across over like a 4 or 5 year period. Then suddenly, I believe it was in late 2014, early 2015, I stumbled across their name on a blog, one of the blogs I usually go to. I still go to this day, and I checked out the new albums. I knew their name, and I was floored. I made a video. I want to say it was in late February of 2014, one morning, or 2015 rather, the first year I was on YouTube, and I don't love the video, but what can you do? It still kind of gave me it captured my feeling about them, and I got totally won over, and it was my album of the year in 2015, and it's the last 5-star perfect album I've actually found for myself. So anyway, they have in effect 8 releases, some of them EPs and stuff like that, but I'm going to talk about in this video Until the World is Happy, Wake Up You Sleepyhead Sun, the debut album, which came out in 2007. When I first I really became a fan, in effect, was then after hearing that album in 2015. I kind of likened them to being kind of similar to Wolf Parade and Menomina. In 2015, at that point, Menomina was no more. Wolf Parade was not what they once had been. They weren't really doing the proggy stuff, but I knew that they kind of did, my impression, math rock and post-rock, but then they're also associated with sort of the post-hardcore or emo or pop-punk scene, you could say, in some ways. I bought this, when I got into them, I bought this CD, and I listened to it maybe once or twice, and I just haven't gone back to it since. I don't know why. I'm totally a guilty fan. Show it here. But came out, according to Spotify, I was looking on Bandcamp I saw today, February 26, 2007. If that's the case, it literally came out only a few weeks before Set Sail to Prairie, Second Blackfield, and House of Fools. House of Fools debut album is interesting because they were based in Tempe, Arizona at that time, but now they're based in Portland, Oregon, and I know the guys from Caddisfly, I actually know them. But it's ironic. But so getting into this album specifically, though, they've definitely changed, evolved, modified, incorporated different things since their debut album in 2007, because I guess they formed in 2006. They were originally known as Beyond Analog. Judd Hancock is I think he's the guitarist and the singer, but I always get mixed up between Judd Hancock and the other primary singer. The drummer, which, I could just look on the credits, I suppose, rather than look stuff up online. London Van Rooy. Jim Mandel plays bass on this. So, live band include Mike Mackay on second guitar. Yeah, so I think it's Judd Hancock has the higher pitched voice, I'm thinking. And on this album, he reminds me a little more of Craig Minowa of Cloud Cult. But this album is more math rock than I think anything else they've done. It also has more post-hardcore, but it does use a lot of piano. And there's a number of fantastic moments. In fact, I am totally guilty of sleeping on this some, you know, whatever, 8 years after I bought it. I like almost every track, but if I'm... I'll show you the track list again. If I'm choosing favorites, one of them is Sick on Substance. That's terrific. The build on that is great. Again, the piano arrangement. Some of it reminds me a little bit of like, I want to say like it's like mathcore, Circle Takes Square, or even Sicketh to an extent. I mean, it's not quite as crazy as Sicketh, but some of the vocals are kind of going all over the place. And some of the guitar parts, the energy, the riffs sort of are, they're offbeat. And they've always been a very rhythmic, percussive band, although the math-rock element is more present on here. And so I think they've kind of modified that math-rock element to be used different kinds of percussion and xylophone, which they didn't use that much xylophone on this. They used more on the following releases. But, no, I mean, The Flood, Gutter of Disneyland, The Best Time of the Worst Year, Dear Dictator. They use some samples, which is a nice part. And, you know, again, they combine elements of math rock and post rock. And some people that aren't really that into either genre style or just from afar just kind of lump the two together, or even say shoegaze. They're all part of shoegaze. Whatever, but there's a difference to most people. The math rock element is very kind of rhythmic and sounds like King Crimson, Three of a Perfect Pair, as opposed to post rock, which uses more atmosphere, samples, more chamber instrumentation. There's a little bit of chamber instrumentation on here, you know, besides the guitar, bass and drums, and some piano. But the piano is, I have to admit that even on all their albums, the piano is always my selling point initially, and a big reason why I love a band. Phenomena, there's a ton of bands I can totally say that when they use piano and really well-arranged piano, I'm a sucker for. So, yeah, I mean, there's more. It's a Midwest emo. There's more punk elements on this than probably anything else they did. Although now I even revisit some of those stuff. I'm not fully sure on that. But there's also a great flow to this record. That's the thing I also have discounted all these years, is that it's one of those records where, and I think most of the records do that, where they end a track, or you think a track's done, it's kind of segueing into the next track. So it's almost, I don't know if this is really considered a concept album, but anyway, so that's my take on it. It's interesting artwork. A lot of people love the artwork more than the music, but I mean, I think even though it's more raw, naturally for a debut album, compared to some bands I love's debut album, this is much, I prefer this much more, say like Fair to Midland, or, I don't know, you name it. There's a, you know, the first King's X album, I probably would put this slightly above that as well, as weird as that sounds. Or Fate's Warning's first album. It's got a lot of cool elements. You know, again, the post-hardcore, you know, punk element is there, but I think it really takes a second, third, tertiary, you know, fourth seat to the sort of atmosphere and math rock elements and some of that melodic sense in some of these tracks. And so, yeah, I mean, it's, maybe I'll rank the records on Friday, I don't know, but I definitely have a new appreciation for this record. It's a mouthful. That's the one they sort of, the first couple records, some of the records have these long titles. Again, titled, Until the World is Happy, Wake Up You Sleepyhead Sun. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a title that Murder by Death would use also, which I remember in my initial review on YouTube in 2015, I compared them, because there is a little bit of a Western element, and they're from Arizona, so it makes sense, so. But anyway, have you heard Small Leak Sing Ship's debut album? What do you think of it? If not, you can go on to, obviously, Spotify or Bandcamp and check it out. But I'm going to go ahead and do the next one maybe right now if I have time. But, see, I have some more physical copies I'll be showing over the coming days. And that's why I ended up starting this video later than I meant to today. But, yeah, like I said, they have like 8 releases. This is just the first. But they have some EPs, and then leading up to the Low Tide, the new record that's finally released on Friday, October 20th. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We'll see you next time.